I remember one time my mom woke up very early in the morning. There was a man who was our neighbor and hit him so hard on the forehead until there was actually a very big crowd around there, and mom was feeling she's a hero. And we were there standing by her. And I remember those things. I'm like, Susan, who are you? You are also like the people who participate in mob justice. But at that time, that was life. My name is Dr. Susan Gitau, a counseling psychologist and lecturer at University of Nazarene. I am also a senior clinical counselor supervisor, the highest level that you can attain in Kenya Counseling Psychological Association. I won the Mashujaa Award in 2018 for my community service and the challenges I overcame during my educational journey. I am also the chairperson, Kiambu County, Kenya Counseling Psychological Association. I run a college in Thika. You will not see that college maybe doing stuff like other colleges do, but we have been there since 2012, bringing out the best of the counselors, whether it's at that certificate level, diploma level. And in conjunction with Tangaza, we were doing very good work, bringing counselors to a level of having degrees. But right now that is no longer there, but we still send people to Tangaza and they are treated well, they are given exemptions because they come out outstanding and professionals in counseling. I have realized that mental health is quite ignored. So I run Susan Gitau Counseling Foundation, especially to take care of those that can't afford counseling services. For my foundation, I would like to ask you to come on board. If you also know sponsors that we can work together, kindly come on board. It is an incorporated foundation, meaning it's here legally. And if you come work with us, we are making a difference to this nation together. Mental health issues are actually exaggerated by psychological stressors that can come from socioeconomic strains. And so on the side, I do psychosocial support for teenage mothers in Kiandutu, for the learners in Kianjao Primary School, and even the schools around Thika. I have a few cases that when I go to schools that I pick. And right now we are starting a program at Queen of Rosary for the Form 3s, because we want to mold their character and we also want to tell them that they can make it academically. We went to Kiandutu when I was 8 years old, after my dad fell completely ill and he had to leave our family and be a permanent patient at Mathari Mental Hospital. And we had no choice. We were a big family of 8 and my sisters had children, so we were 11 with my mom there. And some of the memories I have about Kiandutu, maybe I have talked a lot about the traumas of Kiandutu, but there were also good memories there. People didn't care really whether you've eaten or not, what you're dressed in, how you look. In fact, I didn't even know how I looked, by the way, because nobody really cared. You care more for your stomach than anything else. So I actually went to high school and discovered that, oh, I have a deep voice. Oh, I'm bright, you know. Oh, I'm cute. You know, I didn't know, because in the slum, really, nobody cared. Hey, uko kuna ngori. When I say ngori, what happens there? Hey. Even dramas in my own family, you know. Today you're friends, the next minute you guys are enemies. You can fight with anything. You can fight with cups, plates, you know. But the next minute you're very happy people. Because most of the time people in the slum are drunk. So even if you're not drunk yourself, there is something I have come to learn in my work of psychology called codependency. You also look drunk and behave like you're drunk. I remember selling illicit brew, you know, Moratina, Changa, Busa. You know, me, I know how to brew Moratina. I know how to brew Busa. Changa I could not, because it used to be done in the river and in the big dam near Witaithi. So I never used to go to see how it's done, but my siblings would. So one of the things I know is that when you are selling that changa and a customer comes and they are very drunk, you see, they can't see, So you actually put a lot of water. You put a lot of water and then now the pure changa. And they are like, hey, umebom hii sana, you know. And at that time, you are just laughing in the inside because you want to make more money out of what you're selling. And at times the police would come and you're all pretending to be asleep. And what you're hiding is actually those bottles of changa in your body. Sometimes they would be ruthless. They would actually just lift all the blankets from us and whoo, unapatikana umelalia changa pale, embarrassment. But at the same time, there were nice policemen that would look at maybe the family and see, these guys are just trying to survive. I remember one time my mom, you know, now she's here, she doesn't have her husband is in Mathari. And maybe there are people who are looking at her as a vulnerable woman. I remember this time that we've never forgotten as a family, and we keep remembering it, you know. My mom woke up very early in the morning. There was a man who was our neighbor and hit him so hard on the forehead until there was actually a very big crowd around there, and mom was feeling she's a hero. And we were there standing by her. You can imagine. And I remember those things. And today I see Mob Justice. I'm like, Susan, who are you? Anyway, you are also like the people who participate in Mob Justice. But at that time, that was life. Despite all the challenges in the slum taught me, one, life is too short and anybody can find themselves anywhere, because my dad was a great man, a great provider. But when his mental wellness, his mental health just got destroyed, as a family, we took a radical shift that today, the aftermath, the debris, I am still dealing with them. For many years, I have been this comedian, and even now when I do my presentation when I'm at ease, I find myself just bringing humor. But that is what I picked from the slum, a sense of humor. And I also know the meaning of it deeply. It's laughing at your own challenges, your own woes, you know. It's like lightening the world. It's a defense mechanism, and in a way, it saves the world for that moment. So I can tell you that what I picked from there is that character that is charming, that character that is creative, because you can create anything in the slum. I think I also learned the sense of humanity there, because you could see I am going for 2 days without food. And I think that never used to make me feel very happy, because I would be angry for no good reason. You have tattered clothes, and I would feel embarrassed if I'm walking, I'm a girl and I'm in tatters, you know. And I think that also made me remember when I grew up and when I started earning my own money, that there is shame in poverty and there is low self-esteem in poverty. And that's why I go back to the same roots, just to make one child or two feel they are worth living like any other human being. There was no career guidance for me. No one in my family, the entire family and even clan, had gone to university. I was the first one to go to university. And so there's no one you're looking up to. In the slum, there was no one who had gone to the university that I could ask questions. So I became one by default. It's not that I even planned. I didn't even know there was anything like psychology. Today, I'm the first doctor from Kiandutu slums. Just like I'm the first female chairperson in Kiambu County for counselors and psychologists. And when you are always the first, there's no one to look up to. And so whatever you do, you put a lot of energy into it, and you believe there is another force that has to work with you. Even if there is no one guiding you on your career, just look at your subjects and find the subjects that you do with a lot of ease. I love traveling. I love going places. I did not know, that's why I loved and performed very well in geography. I had an A in geography, right? Swahili, I had an A. So people find me speaking Swahili on TV and I'm like, oh, we thought she was only good in English. So I pray that you are going to identify what you can do very well and add passion into it. Passion will actually take you to your destiny if you realize there's something you do on a daily basis and you don't get tired. Find out that which makes you tick. I was a very reactive person, quite reactive, and it doesn't die completely. And my reactivity was so bad that I could not even have words, literally no words to tell you you have wronged me. It's all bottled inside. And so I would get to a level, if you are my enemy, I don't even see you. You can imagine, the vision is blood. I can't see you. That's so toxic. So I always ask myself, if I never came across this opportunity to study counseling, where would I be? Maybe I would be dead. Because when I have a lot of anger turned inward, that actually gives birth to depression. And when you're so depressed, you want to die. One of the things I like to say about my son is that he's the most genuine person. He doesn't hide anything, even if it's ugly. So he has taught me to be a parent that is mindful of the way they are relating with their children. He's the only one that tells me openly, you know, without fear. And I think as a parent, it's good to accept that. It's hard to take, yeah? Because he was the first person who told me, Mom, you don't talk, you shout. And I now had to recall that in the slum, there was no talking, it was shouting. But now my son made me to start thinking, how do I talk? yeah. And he's also made me appreciate being a mother. I don't know how life would be today if I was not a mother. So I think I can say he also gives me that sense of completeness and makes me stand on my toes. The effort I have made personally has been of great value to me. But the profession as a whole, I don't think it has been kind to me. Why? If you look at the cost of education that I have put in, the value that I have put in my education as a counselor, and sometimes when I look at what comes back, I sit here and I'm asking, is this profession kind to me really? And that is why I am not a person that likes politics, but there is no position, including the one I took up as a chairperson, that is not political. I just decided this time I have to make this profession count for the professional counselors and psychologists. Because in this nation, if I would tell you the truth, the Counselors and Psychologists Act was passed in 2014. And up to date, there is no national board. There are people who don't value this profession. So if they don't value this profession, they also don't value me as a professional in the counseling and psychology docket. Because my services are not seen to be useful. Why I say it's my own input, when I'm invited to the media, even without pay, and I say something sensible, and somebody out there is suffering from what I'm saying, they will look for me. And when they look for me, they see it's valuable. I want to say this profession should actually pay more. Yes, and there are several, not even one. You see, I got this seat, Kiambu County, Counselors and Psychologists Chairperson's position. It was my position 6 years ago. I was rigged out, and I was rigged out in style because somebody used something that was done to me in the year 2015. It was so wrong. It was so wrong. One day I woke up to an email that had said I am no longer a member of the board of the same body, and there was no explanation as to why. So by the time the mess was dealt with, my name had been tarnished. That was a very low moment for me because it was almost like my climax. The other one is when I started my PhD at Kenyatta University. And when I defended my proposal, there were very personal statements, attacks, I would call them, that made me feel and believe I was never going to have this doctorate from Kenyatta University. My first paper to go online won me a publication for free for my book, for what I did in my PhD. Most people think you are stupid, but they don't know the battles you are fighting. And at this time, I want to remember all the people that are suffering doing their postgraduate studies in this nation, that we are going to decolonize research in Africa, beginning with Kenya. Because most of the protocols that we follow, if you ask at the end of the day how these has helped Kenya, maybe nothing. We want to do research like the way they have done and bring us AstraZeneca. I want to look at a theory that was created in the US, in Britain, in the African context, so that I can tell, is it working for me? And if it's not working for me, what do I change? I think those ones, basically, those two, the main highlights. So we are in a hot balloon, yes, right? Yes. And I have Mother Teresa, yes, I have Frank Njenge, yes, and I have Reverend Kathy Kuna, yes, and I must throw one out. Yes. If I must to throw one outside, one is already outside because I can't see them, Mother Teresa. Because if she came, I would believe it's a ghost anyway. And so I would rather live with these two human beings that I know. But the person I would want to remain with for completion of my vision and mission on earth is Reverend Kathy Kuna. She has such amazing belief in what she does. Like when she talks about woman without limits, she indeed is one, and she makes you one. She became our student at Africana College of Professionals, and it's because she invited me to Daughters of Zion conference. And she said, Susan, I have seen a gap in the church. Mental health must be implemented in the church, and I want to be a role model. That's what I love also. And so she told me, Susan, I want to join you by becoming your student in your college, you know? And she does that. And she's now graduating this year. And so that kind of a person working with me makes me believe at least kuna mtu mmoja in this world who believes in me. If you go Google Center for Mindful Self-Compassion, California, you will see that there is a very beautiful training that is ongoing. It's above all the trainings I've ever taken in my psychology training, because it teaches you to be human. It teaches you to be calm in the face of crisis. And especially this time of COVID-19 pandemic, when we are seeing very many people losing their mind and all the human atrocities that we have observed. If you have mindful self-compassion within you, then you have all the tools to survive very difficult moments. So being the first trained teacher in that makes me feel good. And now I have actually been given a full scholarship with two others that I brought on board. We translated the Mindful Self-Compassion Manual into Kiswahili. We're just doing the final touches. And that won us as a scholarship to study a whole certificate worth 0.5 million that is going to run like for 8 months from the US. For all the people in Kiambu, the political leaders, the corporate leaders, let's come together for our county. I vied for that position, not for me, but because I know I'm called for more than just sitting in the university corridors and in the classrooms. I'm out here in the community, and I am one believer. If time just passes by, I will never get it again. So I try to use my 24/7 very well. I will not be able to do some of the things I do, but because right now I have the energy, right now I have the zeal, right now I have the passion, I want to do them. And if you can join me right now when I have the energy, we are going to leave a legacy together. God bless you.